It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Butterfly Palace and Rainforest Adventure, Adventure Cave Tours, and Talking Rocks Cavern. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
And here we are on Thursday morning. We made it to Thursday, making progress through the week, and we got news to tell you about. So let's do it.
All right. An arrest in the Dallas County school threat. The sheriff's office says Matthew Fleetwood placed a threatening letter inside a library book. Now he faces 4 counts of making a terroristic threat and 1 count of making a false bomb threat. That letter referred to multiple devices around Buffalo, including one that was said to be at the school. Police say the letter also claimed that the author of it, which was a fake name, was paid to kill Matthew Fleetwood. So that means basically the guy wrote his own name into the letter, and it included a list of demands, including money.
Makes 0 sense.
Yes. But I'm just glad they got him, because we were talking about if they could get him, which would be very hard. That would be a hard thing to track down without a snitch or something. But it sends a message to the rest of the would-be, threat makers, I guess.
Yeah, there's been a rash of that, so we got to put a stop to it by sending a message for sure.
Yeah. The state of Missouri is on its way toward enacting laws that will prevent doctors from doing surgeries on children that would change their reproductive parts, or giving kids puberty blockers or hormones. Also, it will ban biological boys from competing as females on female sports teams at both public and private schools. The bills are awaiting the governor's signature, which he is expected to sign. Also, at least 21 other states have passed restrictions on transgender athletes' participation in sports.
We know Interstate 70 will get almost $3 billion for expansion in Missouri's budget, also still awaiting the governor's signature. And now we know Interstate 44 will get $20 million to study plans for improvements. That study will look at potential environmental impacts of changes made to Interstate 44 sometime in the future. That means any actual improvements to I-44 will be years away, but $20 million to study it. That's the start.
More than I would have expected.
That's the
But
start.
I mean, it's a big road. I don't know.
It is a long road. I would study it for $10 million. Just throwing that out there.
Deal.
$112,000 grant is on the way to the Springfield Greene County Health Department. It's called Reducing Overdose Through Community Approaches Mentorship Grant. It will pay for prevention and intervention strategies to help reduce our very high number of overdose deaths. The Springfield area, for example, has a mortality rate involving opioids of 27 deaths per 100,000 people, which is higher than the national average.
Meanwhile, the Jordan Valley Innovative Center is awarding grants to help fund private sector projects that focus on technology, infrastructure, or workforce development. They are hoping to grow the semiconductor industry in Missouri. How about this? The FDA will soon see a new drug that is meant to treat Alzheimer's, and CMH Hospital in Bolivar helped test it out. The Missouri Memory Care Center there was part of a nationwide clinical trial that helped with early symptomatic Alzheimer's patients. CMH says that 47% of patients who used the new drug showed no decline in severity during the first year, among some other very promising results. That drug is called donanemab. It is DONANEMAB.
You got to say it with more confidence than that if anybody's going to believe it.
How would you say that? DONANEMAB.
Yeah, I mean, like you said it, but faster. We've covered back in the news. We covered stories. My mom had Alzheimer's disease, so I've cared about this over the years. And CMH in Bolivar does a nice job with Alzheimer's and with the testing, and with the memory care, and then drug trials like this to try to make some progress. Because right now there never has been anything that stops Alzheimer's disease or really even gets close. It maybe they say some can delay it a little bit, but it's hard to tell. But man, any progress made in that along those lines would be greatly welcome.
Yeah, and I just stuck one percentage in there because I don't like to overwhelm any news stories with too many numbers, but that one was a big one. 47% of patients showing no decline in severity during the first year of using it. That's almost half. I mean, that's promising. It's obviously you would wish for a higher percentage than that, but I thought that that was pretty promising.
Yeah, it's interesting because typically the earlier stages, the slower the decline in my experience. Uh, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm hopeful. Spring turkey harvest appears to be looking up in the state of Missouri. Conservationists say this year saw about a 21% increase over the past several years, which is good news because Missouri has had a dwindling turkey population for more than a decade now. So there's hope there.
Yeah. Chances are at some point you watched live PD. Even if you weren't a regular, surely you wanted to see your beloved Greene County on there on the small screen. And now Greene County Sheriff's Office will be back on. It's all part of the Cops television series. Interestingly, Springfield Police Department also signed with a TV show, but separately. So that was interesting. They will be on as well. However, the content that is filmed typically is filmed years or months, maybe, but typically years before it actually airs. So we will have to keep you posted on when you can watch.
Well, and this is no longer the show Live PD. This is the show Cops. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do?
Right,
What you
right,
gonna
right.
do when they come? It's the classic
Yes,
Cops TV show this time,
right. But it
which
was
is
the Cops television series, Live PD was part of that.
was it? I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think
Right?
Live PD. I don't think Live PD was associated with Cops at all.
Um,
Cops was on Fox. Live PD was on A&E.
Whatever it was on. I don't know. I watched it when they were on there. I mean, not like every time, but I watched a couple of them just because why would you not? Come on. I was a crime reporter. So it was very interesting, but I think it's funny that they both signed and separately.
Yeah, that is interesting. I've never been interested in those types of shows at all. Never watched it, never had an interest. Seen parts of it enough to know that it's not for me. I don't wanna watch it,
All right.
but good for them.
Have it your way. That's fine.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I'll watch something else. A third standalone Chick-fil-A is coming to Springfield. This is cool. Very exciting for a lot of folks. It'll be on the north side, North Glenstone, near Interstate 44, right across the street, basically from Big Shots Golf. So you can't miss it. Look for the big the big nets catching golf balls and then go across the street and get your chicken. It should be open sometime next year. So that's exciting news. Plus, Ozarks Brasserie Restaurant and Bar is now open on the Branson Landing. It is a classic French Italian eatery with an Ozarks twist. so that should be very interesting. But that's down on the landing. Next time you're down there, check it out.
All right. It's a big day today for any and all green thumbs or wannabe green thumbs. Today from 3 to 7 is Garden Day, put on by the Friends of the Garden members and some other garden enthusiasts. It's part of an initiative to drive the public to visit, value, and volunteer at public gardens in their area. It's happening at the Nathaniel Green Close Memorial Park. You can ask questions of the experts specifically if that's what you want to do from 3 to 5.
Good timing. It's people are asking questions about their spring gardening and getting all the flowers out. It's that time of year when people are into it.
Yes, if I were not driving to Tulsa later today, it would honestly be really good for me to go learn from the experts because the
Yeah, our garden.
problem is that my garden is not fruitful.
It's a train wreck. It's a dumpster fire. The garden is a dumpster fire.
You're a dumpster fire.
Want me to take a picture of the garden and show it tomorrow? It's
No.
a disaster. It really is.
Well,
That's
listen,
unfortunate. But
Maybe
here's
we
the
can
here's the
revive
thing
it.
with
Maybe it's not lost forever.
here's the thing with a garden is that it takes tending. One has to tend a garden. I mean, this is a life lesson.
You
I
know
mean,
what?
and perhaps a sermon illustration, but it takes tending.
You want to know the sermon illustration? You let the dirt do its work. You just put seed in the ground. And much of the fruit of the garden depends on the seed that was in the ground. And I put seed in the ground. It just didn't bear fruit.
Well, the soil, it has to be good soil.
Yeah, I'm
It has to
aware.
have the proper amount of water and sunshine and all of that. But anyway, whatever we're doing is wrong because
But what our neighbors on both sides are doing is right.
well,
And so another life lesson, sir, is don't look over your fence at your neighbor's garden and grow with jealousy and envy of what they have and what you don't have.
is that where we're going with it? Instead, befriend them and hope that they'll give you some vegetables.
It happened last year. I'm just
I know
saying.
it happened. I know.
Be
We would have
friendly.
starved. We
Be
would have starved
kind.
to
It
death
goes a
without our
long
neighbors.
way.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got. There you go.
Hey, we obviously we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of days.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have more
sorry,
rain
yes.
chances over the next today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So be prepared for a potentially wet weekend. When it rains, it pours. It doesn't rain on you all the time, but there are scattered showers. And today is probably the biggest day for that. So heads up. And it's going to get warm again, mid-80s.
Okay. And by the way, we haven't said their names out loud in a while. I know that they're said at the beginning of each broadcast, but thank you. Butterfly Palace and Rainforest Adventure Cave Tours, and Talking Rocks Cavern for sponsoring Around the Ozarks. We are super appreciative.
Absolutely. They are great places to visit. So do it.
Do it. All right. Have a good one.
See ya.